So let's go back to our structure 2 level. And there we see the steel. So we're going to, in essence, going to cantilever steel out across these. And just to make my, there's a little nuance with how you create the beam systems. The first line that you create is by default becomes the direction of the beams. Once we throw that curve in, we can't flip the beams like you could if it was rectangular. So we can't flip the direction. So we got to make sure we do that correctly. So before we do that, let's go to Home. I want to pick the beam that I want. I want to insert. I don't want a W12. That's a bit overkill. Let's go to Insert, Load Family. I want to come down here, and I want to go to Structure. Of course, we go to Framing. Of course, we go to Steel. We come all the way down here to Wide Flange Steel. And let's go with the W10. I want something kind of skinnier. That's fine. Okay, here's one. Here's a W10 by 15. It happens to be exactly 9 or 10 inches tall. Makes it easy for us to do the math. And then it's got a width of 4 inches. Okay. So I tell it OK. And so now that's loaded up, so I can use that in my beam system. Go to Home. Go to Structure. Let's go to Beam System. And again, the direction I create this is kind of important. I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, and I'm going to call this, we could call this W10 Beam System. That'll work. Tell it OK. Now, what do we want this to be? We're going to make this, let's try making these 2 feet on center. That's probably a little bit overkill, but we'll go with that. We'll worry about our elevation later. I want to point that out. Okay, justification, we're going to worry about the beam type. Let's go here to, there's our W10 by 15. Now, let's go ahead and create our lines. I'm going to start by clicking on the line. Remember, I'm structural 2 level. Click on the line right here up to the inside edge. This structure is going to sit down inside of the system there. Hit Escape. So now our beam direction is going that way. I click on this for center ends arc. Grab that endpoint. Here's my start point. Come down to here to this endpoint right there. I add one more line from this endpoint. Get them on the inside face of what's my curtain wall there. And let's see what we get. Let's go to Finish. There's my steel system. Okay, that's gonna be fine. But let's go to our section now. That's pretty close. We're going to have a couple of beams that are close together. You can adjust, by the way, if I click on this, I can adjust the, I can give it a fixed distance. There's a justification. This is set to center. I can say to beginning. See what that does. See how that shifted it over? It started with the 2 feet here. Boom, 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 goes that way. If I would have went to end, it would have put the 2 feet here. This is fine, just what we did. So we'll set it to beginning. But I want to go back to the section. And we'll see that those guys are sitting, that beam system is sitting at the same level as my other structural steel. It's not sitting on top, it's sitting down here. Okay, it's sitting down here, so this beam, so it's under instead of on top. So we've got to move it up this whole distance because it's top justified. Those beams are apparently. So we've got to move it up 12 inches for here, and then up another 10 inches for the beam. Let's go back to structural level 2. If I click here, see there's elevation, there's no justification. By default, that type, and I can't do it in the type. See, there's no setting there. So by default, the beam system's top justify. So I hit cancel. So I've got that selected, and I want to give an elevation of 1 foot for the W12s, and then its own depth, which is 10 inches. Apply. Now, if we take a look at this, hopefully in section we see that it's sitting on top of the other steel, and it is projecting out. This will ultimately project up. So now all we have to do is go back to structural 2 level. We can mirror this. That might be the easiest thing to do. Let's go ahead and just do that. We could practice drawing it again, but for the sake of time, let's go to mirror. I think I can, maybe I can do pick axis. Yep, flips them over there. And let's go to our 3D view. So there we see this. Our roof is going to sit on top of this, and then we're going to have additional piece of curtain wall go up here. But that's going to have what's called spandrel glass. More on that in the next clips.